field just like you might be, figuring it out and solving problems and pushing things forward, creating teams, building networks. You know, it's a lot to you know, develop a business, and sometimes we can feel like we're on an island. And so we've got a community here that we're bringing together to make sure that everyone's supported, uplifted, and that we've got that network that can really help to accelerate our pace, right? If we have a group of people that we can learn from all of their experiences and take from that, it helps us to learn those lessons that we might learn the hard way sometimes. And so today's presentation is really about becoming more efficient in business and learning those new skills that can maybe launch and advance and catapult us into just a whole new territory of sales and development. So we've got an incredible entrepreneur on the line. He's going to be leading us through it. He's a best-selling author, real estate investor. He's got, you know, multiple six-figure businesses, and just an incredible guy here to help guide us today. So I'd like to bring onto the call Mr. Michael Huggins. Would you like to come on out?
All right, thanks, Skylar, and welcome everybody. Excited to have you. We are going to go through something that is going to potentially increase your sales, your marketing, your ability to enjoy more free time with your business, using a system and being able to give back and contribute to the world how you see. So everyone, let's do an exercise now, because what we've done is been able to use the system to have a predictability of sales. So what I want you to do right now is pick a number between 1 and 10. Okay, now double that number. Okay, now add 6 to that number. Got it? Now cut that number in half. Okay, now subtract your original number. Got it? All right, on the count of 3, I want you to say your number. 1, 2, 3.
3. 3.
3.
Look at that.
My mic wasn't working.
Now, this is just a simple math equation, but it creates predictability. And what we want to do with what we're going to be talking about today is stacking the sales odds in your favor, making sure that you know how these conversations are going to go so that you can have some predictability with your sales. Now, let's go back several decades to a story about 2 friends, Arthur and Walt. And these 2 guys were talking about a dream that they had. And Walt took Art out for a drive and said, here's where we're going to build a business. I just bought all this land, and I feel like it's going to double, triple, quadruple in value over the next year or 2. And Art was looking around going, what on earth are you talking about? There's nothing here. And what he did was, a year later, he opened up Disneyland. Now, obviously, they have made a boatload of money. But on the inaugural day of opening that, Walt had given Art an opportunity to buy some surrounding land around the park for pennies on the dollar. But Art did not buy the land. He opted out of it. And interestingly enough, a different family, the Fujisai family from Japan, bought a bunch of that surrounding acreage for $2,500. And in 1999, so a couple decades later, sold that acreage back to the Disney Corporation for $100 million. Now, the question is, whose fault was it that that sale wasn't made to Art? Now, we can always argue that, hey, it was Art's personal responsibility. He didn't step up and do it. But we could also argue that it was Walt's fault, that Walt wasn't speaking Art's buying language. We all have a buying language. Now, what drives our behavior? Now, we've broken this down. We've done thousands and thousands of surveys. Now, like Skylar said, my name is Michael Huggins. I've been a real estate investor and entrepreneur for the last 10 years, and I've had over 10,000 conversations with business owners, entrepreneurs, and people who are starting businesses over these last 10 years. And we found some very common things to create results for people. And so what we want you to do now is take a look at the screen here. And here's 3 steps I want you to do. We're going to do what's called your drive assessment. Okay, so first read each card. Got the green card, purple card, yellow card, blue card, and the gray card. And what I want you to do is take just 1 minute after reading these and rank the drive cards in order of what makes you feel most important, not necessarily what's important to you. So for example, your work might be important to you, but it might not make you feel important. Okay, your family is important to you, but it might not make you feel important. So take just a minute, look at these cards, put them in order of what makes you feel most important. Okay, you can either just put it in the chat box here. If you're interested in sharing, you can just type it into your phone. You can put it on a scratch piece of paper, because we're going to use this later on for you to have a breakthrough with some understandings. Okay, so we got the D, the R, the I, the V, and the E. So put these in order. You can either use the letter or you can use the color. All right, great. So I see some people putting in their chats in here. Wonderful, great. Okay, so thanks for playing along. Excellent, they're all coming in. Okay, now, what I want you to do is pay attention to the first card. The green card, or the D, is what we call the director. Now, directors, their buying motives, what motivates them to buy, open up their wallet, and eventually make a purchase decision, is when you speak to how they can have an enhanced lifestyle, how they can have a clear vision of financial and time freedom. They want freedom and independence, and then also having a VIP experience, something that's exclusive to them. Now, the relators, or the purple card, these are the people who are motivated by giving back, being able to have more influence inside of their family, inside of their community. And if they are able to contribute in that way, they're definitely going to buy what you have to offer when you're using this proper language. Their buying factors are driven by others. Now, the orange card, the intellects, or the I, their motives are wanting to know details, step-by-step instructions, how to make a plan, how to perform, how to succeed with that plan, or wanting to buy things that will enhance their intelligence or create more expertise in their field. Details, systems, this is their buying motivator. Now, the blue card, we call these the validators, or the V. And what they want to do for buying, and what motivates them, is having attention and focus. These are the cheerleaders of the group. They're the ones that are supporting other people, building each other up. And if they can help others look good, help themselves look good, and then also be recognized for their accomplishments in what they're doing and the steps and progress that they've created, they're going to definitely buy a lot more likely when you're using the proper language. Now, the last one is the executive. They want proof. They're driven by proof. They're driven by what works. They want to get straight to the point. They're not necessarily interested in step-by-step details. They'll check out. They think globally. They want a big picture of the plan. And proof, third-party testimonials, this is what's going to get them to make a buying decision. So with that being said, now that you have organized your drive cards, your D-R-I-V-E, and you put them in what makes you feel most important, now what I want you to be thinking about is, if you put D down as your first one, let's think about this. We will call you a director, and lifestyle is your motive, your motivator. They enjoy a good challenge. They love to feel free and independent. They thrive on being creative, discovering new things, and experiencing life. They're great in social settings, putting together a variety of people and making things happen. They find joy in overcoming obstacles and making a difference in the world. So for the directors on the line, if that's you, go ahead and put a thumbs up, raise your hand, type in a yes. Let's see some interaction. Okay, I'm seeing some thumbs up here. Great, so that definitely describes you. Now, if you selected relator as the one that makes you feel most important, you know how to build strong, long-term, healthy relationships in the workplace. You have a strength in networking and building other people up to a higher level of productivity, and you garner energy and security through those relationships, and you have loyalty. You have loyalty to friends, and you have a service mind, always looking and thinking about others and how they're going to be impacted. So if you're a relator, Did I just describe you? Is that accurate in the description of who you are and what drives you? If you're a relator, go ahead and raise your hand. Put it in the chat. Yes, if you are, great. Okay. Okay, great. Next is the intellectual. They are driven by systems. Now, if you're an intellectual, you're stimulated intellectually either through books, speeches, research, conversations, and organization. Success comes when you accomplish a task and you'd rather be learning something than just lying around. You're driven to understand and to be more knowledgeable, and you want to share with others what you've learned. So if you're an intellect, let me see your hands. Let me see you confirm that this is you. Okay, great. Coming through the chat here. Perfect. Right on. That's you. Okay, next. The blue card, the V, the validator. If you're a validator, you enjoy intimate, small groups where you can be validated. You're often wonderful at giving validation to others. Like I said, the cheerleader, building people up. Your confidence comes from the strength in your relationships. And you feel like if you're in a healthy, caring, and trusted relationship, you're on top of the world. And security and love is something that's top priority for you. So validators, the cheerleaders in the room, that makes sense, and that describes you. Let me see that. Okay, awesome, awesome, good. Love the participation here. All right, last one. Tell me if this describes you, the executives here in the room. You are productive and you thrive on getting the job done. You're task-oriented, you're focused on getting results. Small talk is not really your thing, and you'd rather be working on a project than sitting around wasting time. And you feel happiest when you're pursuing a goal and you're achieving that desired outcome. So if you're an executive, did I just describe you? Is that more to your personality style? Well, good, because if you're following along here, what I'd like you to do is take a screenshot of this. This is what we call our Drive sales system. Director, relator, intellect, validator, and executive, looking for lifestyle, community, systems, being admired, and your proof. Now, why is this important? Let's take, for example, the 2008 hit TV show called Shark Tank. And we're going to dive deeper using the Drive system to understand, again, the buying motives. And these people are, some of the best buyers on the planet. So if you're using the proper systems, like if you're talking to Robert, he is a director, okay? He's motivated by lifestyle. If you look and see his purchases and why he does what he does, you can definitely see he's all about lifestyle. Now, Lori is a relator. She's focusing on community and the things that she invests in and the companies that she buys into. You can definitely see her relator side in that. Now, Damon is an intellect. He is all about the systems. He's constantly asking, do you have a patent on it? What is your manufacturing plans? What is your distribution channel? All about the systems. Now, Mark, on the other hand, is a validator. He's all about having fun, being admired, just being the life of the party. And so you can see what motivates him through his buying decisions and his lifestyle. And then we got Mr. Kevin O'Leary, right? Just all about executive, money, proof, outcomes, goals. He doesn't really care about the small talk. You could see on his face every time that people are pitching, he's just like, where's the proof? That's what drives him. So let's break it down even further. And we're going to understand through these examples how we can improve our businesses, whether you've been in business for a long time, or you're now just considering starting a business, or you're new to it and you're ready to make it grow and expand and make it really work for you. You got to understand what we call the 20/80 rule. Now, if you don't understand this, then it's working against you. So good thing you're on this call so we can dive deeper into what it means and how you can benefit from it. What this means is you are losing 80% of your sales based off of your drive language. When you don't understand the language that drives people, you are missing out. Going back to this conversation with Walt and Art. And Walt's drive is, he's a director. He's all about that lifestyle. So when he was talking and trying to sell to Art, this idea, he wasn't using the proper language. He could have totally done something else to hit his validator, his admiration language, and been able to close the sale. So it's all about the proper language, okay? So if you're only a director and you're using your director language when you're talking to a relator, then you're not going to make the sale. But if you're a relator, again, you've got to be able to speak the language, or else you're going to be losing the sale. Is this making sense? This is a proven system. We've done it for years now, and it just flat out works. So you've got to be able to understand people's buying motives, or you're going to miss out on the sale. So going back now to Shark Tank and thinking about this 20/80 rule. If we look at Robert's deal stats, he has been pitched 511 times and only said yes to 11%, 57 deals. And his largest deal, he invested $5 million in what's called Zero Pollution Motors. This is a car company that runs off of compressed air. It is a fantastic company, and compressed air cars, it's the way of the future. And what he understood is this lifestyle that can be had by being independent and having that freedom to just run off of compressed air. He owns 50% of the business, and you can see in the purchase that he's driven by the lifestyle. Now with Lori, she's been pitched 311 times, and she says yes to 20% of those deals. That's 61. And she often says, you know, I maybe I'm not going to buy this business, but I like you. And she's all about the relator in the community. In fact, her largest deal was in a company called Ruffle Butts, which is just about kids' clothing line and being able to bring kids and communities and parents and families closer together. You can tell that the relator side is coming up for her. Now, Damon is all about the data, all about the systems. Pitched 407 times, said yes to 61 of those. And his largest deal was $500,000 invested in helmets. Just helmets. Now, if you think about that, deep down, he's talking about we're trying to protect the brain here, right? It's not necessarily a fancy, flashy item, but he did see the systems and processes behind it, and that it protects your systems thinking. So he now owns 50% of that business, and then closed the deal because of his drive. Now, Mark, on the other hand, has had the most yeses. He's done 85 deals. And his biggest, if you look at this, he bought into a company for $2 million, a company called 1031 Productions, which is a party business. The guy who wants to be the center of attention, the life of the party, he's the validator, he wants to be admired, bought a party business. So you can see exactly how these systems are playing out here. Now, the executive, Mr. Proof, over here, Kevin O'Leary, he has been closed the least amount of times. Only 8% out of 531 pitches. He's been pitched the most and closed the least because he wants the proof. Now, the thing that he bought into and what he knew wasn't going to change is something with wine and spirits and alcohol. So his biggest purchase of $2.5 million into this company called Zips, which is just single serving little wine and champagne glasses. You pop the top, you got your little single serving. And he knew that that was something that he could see the proof in, and he bought into that business. Now, if you understand this drive language, you have the ability to potentially increase your sales through this communication of up to 400% by being able to hit all the angles and effectively use that time that you have in front of your customers, your leads, your ad spend, your copyright, everything that's going to be helping you drive your business. Here's a question. Has anyone ever closed all of the sharks at once? In fact, it did happen on season 5, episode 2 by Mr. Charles Yim. And he was looking for $250,000 for 10% in his company. He has an interesting little gizmo gadget, nothing sexy. It's called Breathometer, and basically it's an app and a device you plug into your phone so you could tell if you're at the legal limit or not, and if you're able to drive. Now, buzz driving is drunk driving. I'm just going to say that. It's my own putting that in there. Don't drink and drive. But it's an interesting invention. And he was able to not only get the 250,000 he was looking for, but because he was able to speak to each of these people's language. Now, maybe he was doing it consciously, maybe he was doing it unconsciously. But when he did his pitch, he talked about lifestyle, systems, validation, community, and proof, and he was able to get $1 million. And that's a 400% increase in what he was originally going for. So when you're able to use the proper language and clean up your language, you're definitely gonna be able to sell a lot better. When you're speaking to a director, you speak about the director benefits. When you're speaking with a relator, it's the benefits that a relator is looking for. So, what is at the root of all sales? Now let's go back in history a little bit and let's look at the Drew Carey Show, one of the biggest shows of the 90s. It was Emmy Award winning and went through 9 seasons, which only a few TV shows have ever gone 9 seasons. It was a massive, massive success. And while he was doing that show, he was simultaneously doing another 9-season show on Whose Line Is It Anyway? So this guy was killing it. At this time, in 2007, he was now worth $165 million, sitting back, loving life. And he got a phone call from the producer of a show called The Price is Right. They reached out to him and they said, "Hey, Drew, we want you to be the new host of this show." And he's sitting back thinking, that's an old person show. I don't want to do some old guy show. That's not me. No thanks. And they said, "Come on, just come and hear our pitch. Come and listen." And they asked him, he's sitting back. He's not enjoying the pitch at all. He's sitting there, closed body language, just going, "No, it's not for me. I'm just kind of just going along for the ride with you." And finally, the director of the show said, "What motivates you? Like, what do you enjoy most in life, Drew?" And he said, "I love giving big tips." And that's when the director finally realized, you know what? I got to be using the right language on Drew. So he said, "You know what? The Price is Right. You can give tips every single day. You give away cars, money, vacations, boats, all of it. You name it. We're giving it away." And so because of that, he closed the deal with Drew. Drew said yes, and it was able to make something incredible happen, which at first, Drew was adamant, just no, I don't want to do it. Right? And of course, if you got a 9-figure net worth, you can say no to whoever you want. But when this drive system was activated, he was able to say yes, and say yes in an easy way. What the director had done was create a reassociation to what was happening. Reassociations are at the root of every sale. When you're trying to make a sale happen, all you've done is reassociate your request to an outcome for someone to say yes. Reassociations are huge. So when Drew Carey said, "No, that's an old man show. I don't want to do it," and he created that reassociation, what do you want to do? Give big tips. Well, you can do that every single day. And he was able to close that deal. Reassociations are the name of the game. So, in fact, all marketing is a reassociation. How you can take a brand, what they offer, a product or a service, and reassociate that to something that's going to benefit you. Now, let's take, for example, a huge push in the 40s and 50s on branding for diamonds. Now, if you can remember and finish the sentence, how does it go? Diamonds are you got it, a girl's best friend. Now, De Beers did a huge push, did a lot of branding and marketing so that we could start to associate this fancy little rock to a girl's best friend. And they did a fantastic job with that. Now, decades later, this shiny little rock is something that's known as a girl's best friend. Now, they kept going with that. They will also say a diamond is, first thing that comes to mind, forever. Again, that's another reassociation and just another marketing campaign that is now stuck around and created massive success. Again, with the reassociation, Wendy's did one with their campaign. Where's the, all right, I know you're guessing it. Where's the beef, right? Where's the beef? Increased Just this reassociation increased their revenue by 31%. That is huge. Now, also a reassociation to a crunchy, stale, dry, not so exciting breakfast cereal. But when we hear the phrase, the breakfast of, you know it, Champions. So this reassociation of language has been able to create sales in no matter what people are selling. So you got to understand this. Let's do it with M&Ms. Melt in your mouth. You guessed it, not in your hand. Another reassociation. So this is why it's imperative that you understand how to do reassociations using proper language. Now, in this reassociation, your customer is constantly thinking, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? So if you're able to speak that language, the sale is not going to happen unless there's a reassociation. And this is what we're talking about here. So you get compensated for the problems that you solve. Directly proportionate to the size of the problem you solve is your compensation. So you want to get paid more? You got to solve bigger problems. Let's think about this, for example. Michael Jordan, fantastic athlete. Holy cow. I've read a couple of his books and biographies. He was Rookie of the Year, 6-time Finals MVP, 9-time All-Defensive, 11-time All-NBA, 14-time All-Star, played in 1,078 games, scoring 32,292 points and 6 champion rings. In a 15-year career, he only made $90 million. Now we say only 90 million. Now to you and me, we go, okay, why only? Because that's a boatload of money, right? 90 million, that's 15 years. It's only 90 million because just last year in royalties alone from one company, he got paid $134 million. It's because of a reassociation to his branding. He now makes up 10% of all Nike sales, which is in 10% is 3.2 billion. So Nike does around 30 billion a year. And that reassociation from Michael's face to the shoe is what created so much value for them, solving the problem. So if you think about it, in his whole entire career earnings, 90 million versus his corporate sponsors, he's at 1.7 billion. Reassociations are a major thing. Same thing with Sarah Blakely, right? She invented Spanx. She started out with $5,000, started her company. She has sold over 20 million pairs of these fancy, stretchy pants. Just pants. And she now has a net worth of over $1 billion. And she has done a fantastic job of reassociating these pants and made it a global brand, starting out with nothing. So what problems or products, or what problems does your product or service solve? What are you known for? And how are you in the game of reassociating? So if you're a director, or if you're selling to directors, what they feel the challenges are is if you want to solve a problem for directors, you need to understand these challenges. They don't feel free and independent. They're not pursuing their life's purpose, or they're not experiencing life the way they want. If you can solve that, you can close any director. With the relator, if you can solve this, they feel insecure with their relationships. They don't have the influence that they're looking for. They're exhausted from giving too much and not receiving enough. So if you can solve that problem, boom, you can close any relator, your product or your service. The intellectuals challenge is they can't find the information they need. They have paralysis by analysis. There's no progress. There's too much to analyze. And they're not feeling organized. Solve their problems, and again, you can close the sale. With validators, they feel exhausted from serving their team. Maybe they feel disrespected from the people that they care about. They're not feeling recognized for the contributions that they're making to the world. So solve those problems, and you can serve the validators. And then with the executives, what their challenge is they don't feel in control. If they don't feel in control and they're challenged with that, and you can solve that, you can close them. Maybe they don't feel like they're winning in life or business or with their relationships. And maybe they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed with their goals. Solve the executive's challenges using the executive language, and boom, your product, your service is a no-brainer for them to say yes to. Now, the inventor of the magnetic strip on the back of every credit card, That guy is also a billionaire. Holy cow. Now, what he says, he's quoted saying, I don't sell ideas, I sell benefits. And he's a billionaire also. So when you're selling the benefits to a director, here's my tips for you. Pay attention. When you're selling to a director, you got to understand and look at your product and service and ask yourself, does your product or service have a wow factor? Is it visually stimulating, and will it make life more engaging? If you're selling to a relator, does your product support their community? Does it connect them with their loved ones? Will it make them look like a leader inside of their community? When you're selling to a relator, your product or your service, make sure that that's what fits their needs. When you're talking to an intellectual, do you have a step-by-step clear instruction process for them to follow? Does it save them time or money? Does it create efficiencies? Does it make their life easier? Selling to intellectuals this is how you're going to do it with them. With the validators, think about this. Does your product make your client look like a rock star? Will it bring them a positive association and positive attention from people? And does it help them serve? Does it help them serve their teams and the people they're involved with? Let's increase your sales to the validators. And then with the executives, does your product or service give your client more control? Does it help them win in life and help them win in a big way with their relationships? And does it help them meet their goals and help them achieve it faster? So selling, using the drive language. If you use your drive language plus the benefits of what your product or your service are being offered, then it's a no-brainer and the sale is made. So when using Drive System, what we want to encourage you to do is this process called niches to riches and customizing your ads and your experience based on Drive. Now, this is something I want to give you an example of what's happened here. One product, right? Nature Made. Now, when they had this product, they targeted this to executives. Here's their ad. It says individuals lose sleep each night, costing them $350,000 in lost wages over a lifetime. Get sleep, get melatonin. You can tell that was exactly targeted to executives. Same thing, same company now, but now they're targeted intellectual. They got the pharmacist recommended, they got the USP verified stamp on their brand, and you can tell that they're looking and selling to people who want the proof, the system behind the product. Now, this one was targeted to relators and validators. The way to bring communities together, to bring new life, to enhance your relationships. So because of their intelligently designed target marketed ads based off of Drive, that's made Nature Made the #1 supplement company in the world, and they just last year did over $1 billion in sales. But it has to be targeted, and they're following the proper system to do that. Now, we've all been taught the golden rule. The golden rule is do unto others what you would want to be done unto you. We get that, and we've been told that since we were a kid. But in a way, it's a broken model, and it's a little bit selfish. What if we start to implement what's called the platinum rule? Do unto others what they would want to be done unto. That's the key here. And if you can follow the platinum rule, you can sell and serve them based off of their drive, not yours. This is where your upgraded skills and awareness of your conversations is going to have a drastically positive impact on your business, your product, your service. Now, there was a guy living in Seattle who was involved in computer systems and involved in some investing. And back in the 90s, when the internet was now becoming a thing, it was growing at a rate of over 2,300% a year. 2,300% a year, growing, boom, 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 boom. And on a drive from Seattle to New York, he was talking with his wife and he's thinking, how are we going to take advantage of this? How can we ride this wave? What can we do? I mean, if it's growing at this rate, 2,300% a year, what can we offer? And he started doing some brainstorming, started thinking about products and services to offer, and he narrowed it down from 10,000 down to 1,000, and it narrowed it down to 500, and then to 100, then to 50, and to 10. And he started thinking, what is not going to change? This is what helped him decide what he wanted to sell in this new internet selling world that we're now in. And Jeff now is the richest person on the planet because he asked this question: what's not going to change? Now, here's what else is not going to change. Selling, entrepreneurship, this is not going to change. And that's why we have designed and crafted specifically this profit system, because what we know is not going to change is your health and your vitality and its importance. That's why our first class inside our Profits program is run by Mr. Ron Williams. He's the most decorated bodybuilder. He's 7-time Mr. Olympia, 7-time Mr. Universe, and 7-time Mr. America for natural bodybuilding. He's also the bodybuilder of the decade, most decorated nationally and internationally. And he created this course to help you understand how to have your champion life and perform at a top level. Now, the second course was designed by Mr. Eric Counts, and this is our business automation course. If you break it down and you think, all right, take your annual yearly income and divide it by 2,000 as the average working hours. And so for number's sake, let's say you make 100,000 a year. And if you were to break that down to the divide by 2,000, you're at $50 an hour. Now, would you pay someone $50 an hour to just send out an email, to send out a text, to do these menial tasks that you're doing over and over and over, getting stuck in the minutia of your business? This is where we're going to teach you how to automate your business. Take all those tasks and get them automated to increase your income, to increase your free time. Eric has done this time and time again. He is an incredible systems thinker, and this business automation class is for you. Now, the third class that you'll be going through is the Integrated Business class by Mark Kohler. Mr. Mark Kohler is a certified CPA. He's also a certified tax attorney, and he follows the law, and he's honest, ethical, and driven to help entrepreneurs build their business. He's been doing it for 20 years. He's a best-selling author. He's been nationally recognized on many TV shows, one of the highest interviewed. He writes for Entrepreneur Magazine. He's one of the best. He's the best out there. And making sure that you're structured correctly, you're getting the best tax write-offs, that your business plan, your marketing plan, your strategic plan are all in place. This is what's going to be covered inside your integrated business. This is something that's not going to change. And when we ask that question, what else is not going to change? Social selling. Rob Sperry was recognized as the #1 trainer when it comes to home-based business and small entrepreneurs. This guy is incredible when it comes to selling using social platforms. There are ways that you can increase your business systems using free versions. There's also for paid versions using Facebook ads and different ad systems. And the guy's got a proven system, a proven model. He's also a best-selling author. And what's not going to change is needing to know how to do social selling. So he's got a 7-hour class on this. Now, all of our instructors have a 6 to 8 hour course. You know what else is not going to change? Understanding media. Mr. Troy Dunn is world-renowned. Internationally, he has sold international companies and made a boatload of money. He's also been on every version of media, any TV show, interview, talk show, news station that you can think of, he's been on in the last 3 decades. And this is the first time he has ever made a class and revealed the secrets of how he's done that. And so, you know what's not going to change is your need for media and being able to get your product and service known to everybody. You know what else is not going to change? Business banking. How on earth are you going to grow your business if you don't understand the business banking side of things? Yes, you got a great business product or service, but if the debt that you've taken on is restricting you, we're going to teach you how to do things like velocity banking, how to do infinite banking, how to secure more funding for your business if that's what you need. Business banking is not going to change. And so Mr. Christian George owns title companies. He owns commercial real estate. He's been in the banking world for 2 decades now and has proven systems that are going to help you grow your business. You know what else is not going to change? Is personal development. If you've ever laid awake at night thinking, wondering, worried about what you're going to do, how you're going to solve problems, it is time for personal development. So Mr. Woody Woodward is an author of 42 books. He's done 10,000 interviews. He's read over 2,500 biographies. And this man understands high-level personal development. He works with the best of the best around the world and trains them. And now we've captured his training inside of this coursework for you to develop as a person, as a business owner, as a leader in your community. Now, he has such a breadth and depth of knowledge that he has another course, Drive for Communications, using the Drive system to enhance your communication with your relationships, with your teams, with your employees, of course, with your customers, with your vendors, being able to communicate so that you're following the platinum rule. And you know, we talked about it for just 20, 25 minutes or so today. You get 8 hours of communication with him, as well as 8 hours in personal development with him. And our 9th course is Drive for Sales. And like I said, Woody Woodward's also produced several movies on international development. His websites have done surveys of over 10,000 people on what drives them. And we got the stats, we got the data. And he's going to lay that all out for you and how to increase your sales using his system. Now, when we talked to the instructors here, we said, hey, how would you value each of your classes? And each of them were putting it around $3,000. Hey, you want to take my course? It's estimated about around a $3,000 market value, which puts these 9 courses at, in our opinion, of a value of $27,000. Now, what we've done, because our CEO he's an incredible, generous man. He is driven by principles. He's very ethical and loyal to his customers, to his teams, to his vendors. And we want to make it super easy to get into. So the cash value, full pay cash value for these courses is only $29.97. Now, the average employee in this company or in this country gets paid about $46,000 a year. So if we were to divide that by 12, we're looking at about $4,000 a month. So for less than the cost of one of your employees for 1 month, you have a lifetime access to these 9 courses, these 9 instructors, well, these 7 instructors with 9 courses to be able to increase your champion life, your business automation, your tax write-offs, your systems, your entity structuring, making sure your business plan, your strategic plan are all in place, being able to review this stuff, doing your social selling. The value is incredible. Now, if you don't have $3,000 ready to go, we also have a billing option. So the billing option would be $37.47. It's a simple $600 down, $175 a month. That's a cell phone payment. That's half of a car payment to have lifetime access to this coursework. And the billing term is only 18 months. So once that's up, you're in and you have a lifetime membership with our coursework. And as things evolve and change, you get those updates and those changes as well. You get to stream it on demand. You get to have the audio, the video recordings. We also have award-winning workbooks to go along with this stuff so that you have maximum retention as you're going through this training. So what we've done now is this concludes our presentation for today. I want to thank the collaborators who have put together this platform for us to be able to work together, to be able to get and deliver this information to you, put it into your hands. I hope you took great notes and that you're going to implement what you've learned here. So basically now what's happened is we've put you into 3 different categories. There's 3 of you. If you're at number 3, you're basically thinking, okay, that was cool, but you know, maybe now's not the time. Maybe this isn't for me. I'm just not ready. That's fine. Do the professional courtesy and get back with the person that invited you here. Let them know you're a number 3. And you know, maybe we'll follow up with you in a few months and just see where you're at with things. Now, if you're a number 2, you're saying, hey, this sounds fantastic. I see things that could definitely solve my issues in my business. I want to automate. I want to grow. I want to make sure I'm protected legally. I want to make sure I'm maximizing my write-offs. And that would be, you're in the number 2 category. Maybe you got some questions that you just need answered, and we can set up a one-on-one appointment with you and go over in detail how we can serve you best. And so do the professional courtesy and get back with the person who invited you here and let them know you're number 2 and get that appointment scheduled. If you need a couple people on the line to help you make that decision and get some clarity, let us know, and we're here to serve you. And if you're a number 1, It's plain and simple. It's clear as day to you that this makes the most sense. This is the best value in town. Lifetime membership, award-winning company, nationally and internationally recognized. And if you're number one, let's get started. Pull up that credit card. It's $29.97, or you can put it on your billing for $600 down, $175 a month, and you're number one. Let's get your order in the system. Let's get you set up. Let's get you training on day one and streamline your success. So with that, I want to congratulate you all for being here. And if there aren't any questions, I'm going to say thank you for your time and get back with the person that invited you here and use what you've been taught today to enhance your business. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. All right, now for those of you on the line that are still hanging around and have any questions, thank you, Wanda. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate your comments here. Does anyone have any specific questions for me before I end today's webinar? Any questions that I can clarify about our program, our offering, our company, who we are, what we do? Oh, thanks, Jimmy. Happy to serve. You bet, Heather. Happy to serve. Glad you're here.
Michael, I have a question.
What's up?
Yeah.
So is this something, do you see this in the future that you guys gonna add more classes like the Stream Combo?
This is definitely something that has the potential to be expanded, for sure. As we come across more of these incredible businessmen and women who have a fantastic track record, and we feel like this is something that's a good fit for our students and our members, then this is something that we can add and expand the curriculum to. We've done that in the past with other programs. It is a lifetime membership right now if you decide to buy, so you're going to get that ongoing up-to-date information. Great question, Carla.
Yeah, hey, Michael, it's Mike Nelson in Scottsdale.
Hi, Mike.
Hi. I never did buy drive cards. Is there a way that I can buy some sets of those?
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot to mention that there is a way to get the card systems. If you go into the Renata store, I believe it's renatastore.com, okay, you'll be able to purchase them there. They come in a nice kit like this. It's got a nice leather top with a nice engraving here, with a nice metal case, stainless steel. And then these are waterproof cards. So when I sit down with my clients and my customers, I pull these cards out. I have them, I just put them in their hands and I say, hey, put these in order of what makes you feel most important. I want to be able to serve you the best and save both of us a lot of time, energy, and money. And so this is a fantastic tool that does come with, it's something that you're able to get to enhance your learning and your outcomes. Great question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Michael. This is Olivia. I want to say thank you and also to Carla. But I would like to know whether you will have, let's say, tips on this, or will have some flashcards on this, because the slides were very fast. I mean, the content is very rich, but to pick up the note, it was a little bit difficult because you have to go fast according to time. So I want to know whether you have some slides for this teaching.
Yeah, if you would like a recording, if anybody would like a recording of today's workshop, you can go ahead and get back with the person that invited you here. We are going to equip them with the recordings, and then they can send that out to you, and you can review that on your own time and be able to pause, take screenshots if you need to. I'm telling you, I use the Drive system. I was introduced to this system about 5 years ago, and it has absolutely revolutionized my business. And because of my communication, it is brought together me and my wife's relationship in such a stronger way. I get her drive, she understands my drive. You know, I'll give you a quick example. Part of my drive is the intellect. I love learning. I love listening to audiobooks and reading. In fact, in the last 6 years, I have listened to over 300 audiobooks and read another 50 books. I love learning. And so when we're in the car, I'm putting the audiobooks on, and my sweetheart turns it off because she wants to talk. She wants to talk about planning, and she's a director. She wants to talk about our lifestyle and how we're increasing our business. And at first I was like, what are you doing? You're turning off my learning. And so I turn it back on, and then I would kill her conversations around being a director and the lifestyle. And so when we were clashing that way, you know, it was tension in the car rides, and it was silly, right? Of all things, a car ride with your loved one. But once I understood why she was doing what she was doing, and she understood why I was doing what I was doing, it's just smooths everything out. So you know, of course we're going to get business results out of it, but you know what's even more important than business is your family, your relationships, and being able to have a harmony in your life. And so, you know, just a little quick share there on what's happened for me just using those systems. Okay, any other questions? Okay, well, with that, for those of you who have already decided to be a part of our Profits student body, we are now going to transition over to our mastermind with our breakout groups. We do have the announcement in the Facebook group, so make sure you read that and you're prepared for the discussion with Mr. Woody Woodward here, starting here in just a little bit. So again, congrats on being here. Thank you so much, collaborators. Can we give the collaborators a hand for setting this up, making sure the recordings happen, everything is clean, registered, people are happy and taken care of. Thank you so much, everybody, and we will see you guys soon. Talk to you later. Bye now.
Bye.